Welcome back, and today we're talking about The Last Dungeon. You know, that anime with the super long name that I'm not going to be saying. Yes, we all know which one it is. And this episode, we had some pretty big stuff. I mean, we had the conclusion of the tournament arc. It was very quick. I liked it. It was funny. Then we had the whole situation with Lloyd and Filo and the Holy Sword. And the last little bit of the episode, right? We had an end credit scene. And honestly, I forgot to talk about it last episode where we essentially got to see Shuma talking to Ro. So that raised some red flags. And in the end credit scenes of this episode, I feel like there's a connection there, so I am going to be putting on my tinfoil hat and making some theories because I think Shuma is up to no good. Now let's talk about the tournament real quick. It started off with Filo versus Celine, and that fight, it was pretty okay. I mean, it wasn't nothing big. We know that Celine is relying too much on her belts. They weren't working out first, and Filo, of course, she's, you know, throwing magic left and right. She's very, very strong. I like that about her. And, you know, she wants to get married to Lloyd. We're going to talk about that later. But essentially, Celine got disqualified because she wasn't supposed to use physical attacks. She had to use magic. And I feel like Celine at this point is just the comedic character of this anime. I mean, I feel like she's the one doing the overreaction. She's always, you know, going after Lloyd. She's deeply in love with Lloyd, like is completely blind. You know, at this point, Lloyd is getting a little harem together, right? He's got Marie, he's got Celine, Alka, and even Filo. So he's about to get a pretty big harem here shortly. And then the next fight was Lloyd versus Mina. And this fight, you already know it was going to be quick, but it was very funny. I gotta tell you, when that scene happened where essentially Mina casted that spell and put his head inside of a water bubble, and he was in there for 20 minutes. And the referee was just standing there like, yo, it's been 20 minutes. You got to check on the guy, right? And Lloyd was just not fazed by it. It was very funny, but you knew this fight was going to be over as soon as Lloyd casted his first spell. And, you know, it's kind of crazy that Lloyd, even when he messes up the incantations, he still fires that explosion magic and just blows Mina away out of bounds of the arena. So he gets the dub. And then the biggest fight of the tournament, of course, was Ro versus Riho. We know Ro is after the Holy Sword. That's the only reason she's participating in the tournament. And, you know, the fight between her and Riho, it has some past to it. I mean, we got to see a flashback connecting the characters and even using the technique that Riho used to defeat Ro, right? She essentially put like a crystal inside of her arm that caused an explosion. And that technique, that little strategy was essentially given to her by Ro when they were children, right? We see that Riho wanted to learn healing magic, and Ro kind of told her, well, if you want to use healing magic, you gotta be careful, because if you have a pebble inside of the wound and you heal it up, the pebble is still going to be in there and it's going to, you know, get it infected. It's going to cause a lot of problems. So you have to be careful. And, you know, Riho using that strategy to defeat Ro, it kind of brings everything back together very nicely, right? Now, the second half of the episode, I feel like is where everything big happened. We see that Ro just doesn't want to accept defeat, and she sends out Filo to collect something precious from Mary. And Mary, you know, she's dealing with her own curse. I feel bad for Mary because Alka just keep putting all these ancient curses, petty curses, right? Mary has to go to the bathroom every 10 minutes because she gets a stomach ache. I mean, Alka, I love Alka, but damn, give Mary a break. She's killing her at this point, right? So that whole thing, again, it was funny. And I feel like Filo or Filo, whatever her name is, I always get it confused. But Filo and Lloyd, I feel like they're made for each other, right? Like they're both so empty-headed, right? Like Filo messed up by stealing the crystal ball. That's definitely not what Ro told her to steal. And then Lloyd automatically thought that Mary was kidnapped. So it just, everything was a misunderstanding. It was funny just how clueless both of these characters actually are, to the point where I was thinking that Filo was from Kulon Town as well, right? Related to Lloyd at some point. But when we got the big arm wrestling competition, it was funny because it was just out of this world. Probably the most intense arm wrestling competition we have ever seen. I mean, they started flying and breaking stuff, and we actually got to see Lloyd perform magic and not mess it up. That's probably like a little hint that Lloyd was actually serious in this fight, right? I don't know why Filo wants to like fight Lloyd so much. She probably, you know, She really likes power to the point where after she took the L, you know, Lloyd was able to beat her in the arm wrestling competition. She wanted to marry him, and Lloyd, of course, turned it down. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot more of Filo. I'm pretty sure she's going to be part of the group after this episode. But the highlight of this episode, the one thing that is setting everything forward that I'm really looking forward to, right? Because this is definitely going to give us a chance to see Lloyd at full power. There is a mysterious character that's controlling everything behind the shadows. I don't believe we got a name for this character, but he essentially he altered Rose's memories when she was in the hospital. He came in, he did something to her memories. So essentially, Rose was not able to reveal who that character is. But we do know what he wants to do. His whole goal is to open the last dungeon. Hey, that's where the name of the anime comes from. So that's probably going to be a big deal. But he also wants to kill Alka. I don't know why. I don't know what his motivations are at. I don't know why he wants to do that. I'm sure we are going to find that out. But here's where the tinfoil hat comes in, right? I believe that this mysterious character, he wants to get rid of Kulon Town, probably to, you know, rule the world and stuff like that. And he probably is going to succeed in opening the last dungeon. That's where I think this anime is going to go. He's going to open the last dungeon. I mean, it's in the name. It's kind of like a given, right? And this is where we're going to see Lloyd actually go all out full power, right? And we know that Alka, she has a really big interest in Lloyd. So I feel like maybe Lloyd, he was like sealed, like his power was so big that he had to be sealed and he's still this strong. Maybe that's the case, right? We'll see where that one goes. But Shuma, I feel like he's also involved in this whole plot. I feel like he's in some way, somehow involved with that mysterious character. So I'm really excited for the next episode because I do think we are going to get some big events. And I'm pretty sure by the end of this season, we are going to see Lloyd fight at 100%. And it's going to be absolutely great. Overall, it was a good episode full of funny moments. I love the big setup that they're doing at the end of the episode. Definitely stick around for the end credit scenes because they always throw like a little bone for what's to come in this anime. But let me know in the comments what was your favorite part. And like always, make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode.